Hi and welcome to a paper and card model of my guitar table. My initial thoughts for this project were to do something inspired by Philippe Starck. He's a designer that has stood out for many years, and these are just a few of his products that have really inspired me. His wall clock and his colander are some of his less known pieces, yet they still stand out to me for their unique shape and style, and their ability to meld form and function together. His Juicy Salif, on the other hand, is one of his more famous pieces, and this is where I start with my sketches. I chose the Juicy Salif as the product where I was going to start my sketches, as I believed it was going to stretch my abilities as a designer. I haven't done a lot of sketching in a while, so I thought, why not start with something that has a lot of curves and would be very difficult to draw with the amount of depth that would have to go into it. My initial thoughts as to making a model from this will be that it would be incredibly difficult. There are so many curves, and the fact that I would have to also make legs that would support the product. Yeah, it was a difficult choice for me, but I decided to move on from this product and look at the next one. The Ed Archer chair, also by Philippe Starck. Again, not one of his most famous pieces, but one that I truly love. His use of curves, the fact that it only has one leg at the rear, these are big selling points for me. My initial thoughts for this design, that the one leg idea was one that I really liked and wanted to take forward into the model. The curves were also a nice challenge for me, I thought, as to get a curve in paper is pretty difficult. Despite all this, chairs aren't a massive inspiration for me, and through my design history, aren't really an area that I've focused on. So I didn't really want this to be a representation of my inspiration. Now this takes me on to my next product that I've looked at, the club chair by a company called Mook Melder. Again, another chair, so not a true inspiration for me, but I love the fact that it's a Bauhaus style, and again, I love the curves that go into this model. Now the sketches I did for this product were pretty rough. My initial thoughts for this model was that it has an interesting shape, and the square yet curved cushions would provide an interesting challenge for me. The armrests themselves would be incredibly difficult to make out of paper, and I might have to look at using some sort of tracing paper in order to get the curves and to get the bend right. Again, with the fact that this is a chair, I chose to step away from this design, as it also isn't a true representation of my inspiration. At this point, I was pretty stuck on what I wanted to do. I was kind of thinking about doing the Juicy Salif model. However, I didn't think that was going to be original enough. I wanted to make a model that expressed me. And after speaking to one of my friends, Fonzie, I realised that a true inspiration for me was music, and that rock music had been there for me through a lot of my design life. With this idea, I decided to do an initial sketch of a guitar to hopefully inspire me to make a product out of this. I did a really rough sketch of a guitar and outlined the key components to it, so as the strings, the neck, the body, and the head. With this in mind, I then spoke to Robin, and we thought about trying to make the product more abstract. And from here, I went on to design a table out of a guitar, where the neck and the head would both bend to form a leg, and I placed a part on the front which would act as another support, which was supposed to be a representation of a guitar pick, which is quite a crucial part in playing the guitar. The model was great. I really liked it, and it worked perfectly, as you can see in the picture on the bottom. However, I wanted a product that was one piece, so it didn't have an external part stuck onto it, in this case, the guitar pick. This is where I started my next lot of iterations, my second lot of sketches, to make a model which was just one piece. As you can see in these sketches, I've took the main body of the guitar and made that into the main part of the table where one would do work on. The leg would bend towards the centre, and the head would also bend to form the base. The modelling process wasn't easy, I will admit. There was a lot of trial and error involved in trying to find the centre of gravity and also to try and stop what you can see in the pictures happening. A lot of the time, the neck would snap, mainly due to the angle that I had to get and the force that I had to put onto it. Finally, I was able to figure out a way to compromise with this. I increased the length of the neck, which took it away from the initial design of a guitar, but I was able to make it so the angle would put less stress on the fold, which meant the neck wouldn't snap, and also meant that the head was in a perfect place to balance the table. And here it is, the final product, fully complete, fully painted, and looking, in my opinion, rather nice.